Hey, good morning, everyone. My name is Chris-Beth Cowie, the founder of EmpoweredFX and the host of BizGrams. We have the privilege of bringing to you dynamic entrepreneurs so that you can learn about their stories and be inspired. Today, we have Bob Minhas with us here today. Bob, you are a man on mission, building experts. Welcome, and thank you so much for being here with us.
Thank you for having me, Chris. Thank you.
Thank you. So, Bob, tell us a little bit about your entrepreneurial journey. I know you mentioned earlier in our conversation, 18 years. What happened 18 years ago that propelled you into being such a dynamic entrepreneur today?
Oh, my goodness. I would say it's a Martin Scorsese movie. So 18 years ago, for my birthday, my wife at the time and her mother bought me a book, How to Start a Business for Dummies. I took it as complimentary, pardon me. But at that time, what I realized was entrepreneurship was something I wanted to pursue. So I was working full-time in telecom, but I had started this sort of side business around consulting, which was really installing technology. Over the years, as my career was building, sort of the side business was building as well. When you work in technology or telecom, you tend to work shift work. So I had all of these extra days to work on my part-time business as well. But then in 2008, I lost my job. But what I really want to clarify is I didn't lose it. I was fired because I was a really bad employee. And that gave me sort of the chance out of sheer survival to sort of take this part-time business and make it full time. And that's exactly what I did. I just hustled every day. And I built a business that earned us about 6 figures, which for 2 solopreneurs, my wife at the time and I, that's pretty good. And we had amazing opportunities. We worked with HGTV celebrities. We worked with Canadian celebrities. We were installing technology in some really big brands and consulting as well. And then after some time, my marriage ended, which for the most part ended the business as well. So that set me on a path in a 12, 13-month journey of being homeless, without a home, cashing out couches, living in storage units. Was not a fun experience. And then I had to humble myself and look for work again. Well, wouldn't you know, even though I was trying to build this business living homeless, I stumbled onto this amazing opportunity providing business coaching for government agencies. So I sort of started that work, and it was really in small rural communities that I was helping these people build what it is that they wanted to build, all the while still maintaining my business as well, which had shifted from technology to now consulting. Finally, in 2019, I decided, the work that I was doing was wonderful and I really enjoyed the people I was meeting, but I wasn't actually getting transformation. And by that, I mean, when you work in an institution, by the very nature of how they're built, it's really bums and seats. It doesn't mean that they're bad people or they don't care. The very nature of work in institutions is in, out, in, out. When you think of hospitals, when you think of education institutions. So I knew I wanted to build something that was still helping people, but gave me the time and the attention, give them the time and attention to create something transformative. So I ended up launching my own consultancy in 2019, and that's where I am today. And it really was this journey of this ebb and flow of being an entrepreneur and not being an entrepreneur, or being a business owner and not being a business owner. But the whole time I was an entrepreneur. And, sometimes I'll have people challenge me, Chris, and say, well, if you didn't work in your business full time, are you an entrepreneur? And that's a whole argument I have to say, yes, entrepreneurship is really how you think, not necessarily what you accomplish.
You talked about this word transformation. Mm-hmm. What does it mean, and how does it look like when someone's working with you?
That's a lovely question. For me, transformation is subjective. Transformation could be as simple as having an aha. So, Chris, have you ever heard someone speak and something in you emotionally and physically just clicks because they've said something that resonated? That's transformation. Transformation doesn't have to be this complete butterfly evolution. Transformation can be micro steps. And I think in the world that we live in today, lately I've been really coming across folks with ADHD. I think those small increments, those small steps help, those small transformations help people move forward. So that's what it is to me. Transformation is simply, how have I given somebody a different point of view? That's really what transformation is all about. Now, it doesn't necessarily mean that they adopted and moved forward. What it does mean is that it's allowed them to see a different point of view. And sometimes transformation isn't instant. Sometimes it takes a few of these ahas before someone finally says, you know what, Chris, I think I need to be there.
And so what has been, would you say, a challenge that you've experienced along your journey? And, what lessons have you learned to transform and evolve on your way?
It's a great question. When I ended up in being homeless, I will fully admit that what led me there was nothing but arrogance, just being so overconfident. And, when you work with Canadian celebrities and in HGTV, you tend to get this sort of inflated ego. So one of the biggest challenges I had was finding my own transformation and my humility again, because, I entered this business losing a job. So you enter it by nature humble, and you sort of grow this skin, and then trying to shed that and trying to build something that was still confident, but at the same time, not, again, arrogant or egotistical, was a lot of work. I invested in therapists, I invested in coaches, I invested in life coaches. And it was really understanding this underlying issue of trauma. And I think when we talk about mental health and entrepreneurship, I think we talk about it from a very surface level, right? We talk about anxiety and depression and how to, overcome. We maybe use buzzwords like self-love, but we never get into the depths of what leads to that situation, which is trauma, childhood patterns. I would dare argue people have even brought forward the idea of past life trauma. There have been so many different intricacies of understanding how do you shell that. And what I came to realize, Chris, is I don't know that you can actually shell it. What you can do is move through it and overcome it. But like any addiction, let's say, whether alcohol, gambling, drugs, it tends to constantly reside in you. I don't know that I've ever met anyone that said, yeah, I overcame that trauma as a child. What I have done is I've met someone who says, you know what? Once in a while, it might surface again, but now I have the tools and the confidence and the community to move through it. So it has much less an impact on my life. It really is a scar. So I think that was the toughest thing, was understanding that I don't have to be perfect and I don't have to be the exact model of what a perfect entrepreneur looks like. I simply need to be my version of what a great entrepreneur is. And that involves working with, dealing with, mitigating, and trying to resolve trauma that we've all experienced in our lives.
What advice do you have for entrepreneurs on their entrepreneurial journey right now?
Can I tell you? Okay, how much time do we have? I'll make this quick. Here we go. So I believe that there's a three-pronged system for success in any type of entrepreneurship. Number one, you need to consider your health. Number two, you need to consider connection. And number three, you need to consider skill. Here's how this works. Health relates to the body and the mind. You not only want to be physically active, get a walk in a day, making sure that what you're putting in your body is conducive to a healthy lifestyle. It doesn't mean you eat a salad every day, but what it does mean is you understand the production of the productivity in your business is directly related to the function of your body. And then we talk about mind, which we talked about earlier. What's that mental health? What's those coping mechanisms? Do you understand how you relate to stress? Lately, I've been pursuing a lot of research in ADHD and how ADHD entrepreneurs are struggling with how their brain works and how they pursue a business. So that's health. And then we move into connection. You will not meet an entrepreneur unless they're a liar that said that they've built their success by themselves. You need to build a community around you that's going to facilitate you. And that has three prongs in of itself. Who's that mentor, that person that can give you the advice that's been where you've been, that you want to strive and achieve? Who are those people that are at the same level as you, getting started, maybe struggling, but you can share those struggles and pain points together and understand all of those things you're feeling in isolation aren't just you. And then we talk about, I've forgotten the third word, but anyway, who's that person that you strive to be? Who's that Brene Brown, that Oprah? Who is that person that you strive to do? And you want them you may not be able to talk to them, but you can follow them and you can resonate with them. Mine, for example, is Simon Sinek. I don't want to be the next Richard Branson. I want to be the next Simon Sinek because my goal is to share thoughts just like I'm doing here. And then finally, business skills. You can't get away with not knowing the basics of business. You don't have to be perfection. You don't have to be perfect in every part of your business, but you need to know how that engine runs. So here's how my model works. You could be the most healthiest person, have every business skill, but if you do it alone, you will fail. You could have the most amazing, beautiful connection and network, and you can have a ton of business skills. Maybe you went to school for it, but if you don't treat your health well, you will fail. You could be the healthiest person in the world and have the most loving people around you, but if you don't build the basics of your business skill, you will fail. So for me, that's the advice I give to everyone is when you start down this path or thinking about it, build those three pillars. How am I investing in health? How am I investing in connection? How am I investing in business skill?
It has been a privilege and pleasure. I want to say thank you so much from the team here at Empowered Forex to your team, serving entrepreneurs. And I love the work that you're doing. So I'm sending you off with lots of love and blessings and positivity for today and beyond. And I hope you have a wonderful day. Take care.
You too, Chris. Thank you.